Welcome to another edition of Lean Bites. I very much appreciate you joining me today. My name is Paul Dean, and this edition of Lean Bites, I'm going to share with you a key to achieving a successful problem-solving culture using the model of Sherlock Holmes. I've had the privilege of implementing Lean with large and small organisations, and I found that organisations that have had a strong focus on the fundamental techniques right from the start have achieved a successful problem-solving culture. So firstly, what does a successful problem-solving culture look like? I believe this is where everyone feels that they can speak up and raise concerns in a psychologically safe environment. They feel that they can propose improvement ideas without being shut down. They have the opportunity to implement those improvement ideas. They have been supported to develop the capability to solve problems, and they're empowered to work on problem-solving activities. This culture has contributors who methodically solve problems using simple scientific methods, getting to the root cause and solving problems that don't resurface. Now, Sherlock Holmes is a famous fictional detective, and he's well known for his practice of astute observation to solve cases. This is about collecting evidence at the scene and working the problem through and not coming to a conclusion prematurely. And I believe if we follow his methods and techniques, it will help us on the way to a successful problem-solving culture. And using the model of Sherlock Holmes, here are my 3 key tips. 1, go to the Gemba. Now, when Sherlock was informed of a crime, to investigate it, he didn't undertake the investigation remotely, but he went immediately to where the situation occurred to make observations, to ask questions and gather evidence. He didn't make assumptions, but focused on gathering the facts. In lean terminology, this is called going to the Gemba. Going and seeing is a critically important step in the solving of problems. Investigations can't really be done remotely. You need to go to where it happens and certainly not make assumptions without the facts. Going to the Gemba is a very popular first step. Why? Because it works. And making this part of your problem-solving routine is extremely important. 2, develop a hypothesis and test it. Now, after Sherlock gathered the facts, and then he started developing a hypothesis or theory on what was the cause. If he didn't realise easily the conclusion at the beginning, he would test his theories to determine which one was supported by the facts. This means undertaking some other steps to help understand or prove the theory. In Lean, this is called root cause analysis. The gathered facts or data might lead us directly to the root cause, but if not, then we might need to develop and do further investigation to eliminate those theories that aren't supported. Developing a hypothesis is also a fundamental part of PDCA, and this hypothesis testing occurs between the D and the C stages. And finally, my 3rd tip is chain of learning. Now, Sherlock Holmes worked very closely with his outsider, Dr. Watson, and I'm sure you've noticed that Sherlock included Watson in 2 ways. Firstly, to discuss the hypothesis or theory, and secondly, to teach him so that Watson could learn also to be an astute detective. Sherlock Holmes would constantly share with Dr. Watson his thoughts and assumptions, and between the 2 of them, they would determine what was the cause of the incident. In Lean, the same principles apply. It's critically important to the success of developing the right culture for solving problems that we follow the same model. We must create an environment whereby those stronger in problem-solving capability, skill and understanding work side by side with those less skilled to include them, teach them and develop them. It's all too easy to have those who are highly skilled solve all the problems. But for a successful culture, we need to pass on the skills through on-the-job training. This training and equipping methodology should be a part of your everyday training regime. Train via the buddy system. Solve problems in a cross-functional teams where everyone feels psychologically safe to contribute. So very quickly in summary, my tips to develop the best problem solving culture, go to the Gemba, try and solve problems there. Don't do it remotely, but focus on the facts. Develop your theories and test them against the evidence, and work together to solve problems and teach one another. I hope this has been very helpful, and before I go, I'd like to leave you with a quote. Every problem has a solution. It may sometimes just need a different perspective. Catherine Russell. Thanks for joining me on this edition of Lean Bites.